What if I told you the most important V6 in Grassroots motorsport history came from the same assembly line as your mum's Altima? Not the Honda J-Series, too refined and it arrived too late. Not the Toyota 2GR, wrong era entirely. Not the legendary BMW M54, too expensive, too European. Not even Nissan's own sacred cows, the RB26, the SR20 DT, the engines with proper JDM folklore. No, I'm talking about a 3.5-litre V6 that Nissan installed in everything. The same exact engine in a canyon-carving 350Z and a rental-spec Altima, the VQ35DE. And here is its superpower: indestructible availability. Not the fastest, not the smoothest, definitely not the best sounding, but the most democratic performance engine of the 2000s. When it died in a soccer mom's Maxima, it was reborn in a drift missile. This is the engine that proved you do not need exotic pedigree when you have bulletproof bones and a junkyard on every corner. In the early 2000s, Nissan was caught in an identity crisis. The Skyline era was over. The 350Z was their Hail Mary to reclaim performance credibility. But they were also pushing hard into mainstream sedan sales, including the Altima, the Maxima, and the Quest. They needed volume. They needed reliability. They needed one engine to do everything. Enter the VQ35DE, Nissan's corporate compromise. It was an all-aluminum, double-overhead cam V6 with continuously variable valve timing, a short-stroke design built to rev, and a 7,500 revolutions per minute redline in the 350Z. It had a 95.5mm bore and an 81.4mm stroke. It ran a 10.3:1 compression ratio. It made 287 horsepower in base form and 306 horsepower in the rev-up variant. But here is what made it special. The secret was not exotic technology. It was over-engineering. Because this engine had to survive 200,000 miles of highway commuting in Altimas, driven by people who treated oil changes as suggestions, Nissan built in massive safety margins. Early VQ35Ds came with forged connecting rods, not because Nissan was building a race engine, but because they needed reliability insurance for warranty claims on 100,000 Altimas. The main bearing journals were sized for worst-case scenarios. The block casting was reinforced beyond what 287 horsepower required. The oiling system had headroom. What was engineered for longevity in family sedans translated directly to absurd durability under abuse. Want to run it at redline, lap after lap? It will take it. Turbocharge it to 500 horsepower on stock internals, still running. The VQ was not built for motorsport. It was accidentally perfect for it. Now here's where it gets interesting. To put this in perspective, the legendary 2JZ GTE made 276 horsepower stock with twin turbos and an iron block. The VQ35DE made 287 horsepower, naturally aspirated, with aluminum construction. Power to weight. The all-aluminum VQ came in at approximately 309 pounds compared to the 2JZ's hefty 460 pounds. The SR20 DET needed forced induction to crack 200 horsepower. The VQ showed up naturally aspirated, already past 280 horsepower. And here's the kicker. Nissan made hundreds of thousands of them. Between the 350Z, Altima, Maxima, Pathfinder, Quest, Murano and Infinity variants, VQ35DEs flooded the market. Compare that to SR20 DET production numbers, scarce even when new and nearly unobtainable now, or the 2JZ already climbing toward collectible status by the mid-2000s. The VQ's abundance was initially its curse. It became its greatest weapon. And then there's the sound. Let's address the elephant in the room. The VQ35DE sounds like an angry vacuum cleaner gargling gravel. In an era when enthusiasts worshipped the symphonic scream of Honda's VTEC or the turbocharged war cry of the 2JZ, the VQ's brash metallic roar became a meme. It's coarse, it's raspy. It sounds like aluminum cans in a blender. VQ owners know. The jokes write themselves. But here's the pivot. Who cares? While enthusiasts were doing sound checks in parking lots, VQ drivers were actually racing. The angry vacuum cleaner sound became a war cry for budget builds. It became identity. You didn't apologize for the sound, you embraced it. Because when 350Zs started appearing in junkyards and Altimas were selling for $2,000, the math became irresistible. Here is where the story really takes off. Drifters figured it out first. Drift tax on SR20DETS pushed prices through the roof. A clean SR swap cost $4,000, $5,000, sometimes $6,000. Meanwhile, you could pull a complete VQ35DE from a wrecked Altima for $800. Transmission included, wiring harness intact, 300 horsepower that would not die. Fabricators started adapting them to everything. VQ swapped 240 SXS, the ultimate heresy, dropping a Nissan V6 where an SR20 was supposed to live. VQ powered hardbody trucks, S-chassis drift cars running junkyard Altima motors, making 350 horsepower with bolt-ons. The swap of necessity proved to be the swap of choice. And get this, the tuning potential was absurd. Basic bolt-ons like intake, headers, and exhaust pushed 320 horsepower. Aggressive cams and tuning cracked 340, all motor. Want forced induction? Turbo kits were making 450 to 500 horsepower on completely stock internals. Those forged rods Nissan installed for boring warranty reasons, they laughed at boost. Standalone engine control units unlocked builds that revved to 8,000 revolutions per minute. The aftermarket exploded. Companies like Tomei, Gredi, JWT, and Stillen all supported an engine that was supposed to be just another family car V6. But why was it overlooked for so long? Why did enthusiasts sleep on it? Badge snobbery, plain and simple. Honda had the cult of VTEC. Toyota had 2JZ mythology. Even Nissan's own SR20DET had JDM mystique, limited production, Sylvia pedigree. The forbidden fruit never officially sold in America. The VQ35DE's crime was being available. It was in rental cars. It did not have a turbo from the factory. It did not come from Japan's golden age of the 90s. It was just there, everywhere. And in car culture, scarcity breeds desire. The VQ was the opposite of scarce. You could find one in any Walmart parking lot, purring away under the hood of a base model Altima. That accessibility made it invisible to clout chasers. Nobody gets internet points for building the same engine in their neighbor's commuter car. The VQ could not compete with mythology. It could only compete with results. Cut to today. The VQ35DE outlasted the hype cycles. The SR20 became expensive and rare. Good examples command premium prices. The 2JZ became unobtainable. Even blown motors sell for thousands. The RB became a restoration project for people with deep pockets. But the VQ? Still in junkyards, still being swapped, still winning grassroots drift events and time attack competitions. It became the people's performance engine, proof that automotive greatness does not require limited production numbers or JDM folklore. It just requires showing up, working every time, and costing less than your monthly insurance payment. The VQ35DE's place in history isn't glamorous, it's essential. It democratized performance in an era when performance engines were becoming collectibles. While purists argued about which legendary engine had the best pedigree, the VQ was actually getting track time, real-world abuse, proving itself not in magazine comparisons, but in the only place that matters, on course. It proved the best engine isn't always the most loved. Sometimes it's the most accessible. In grassroots racing, reliability and availability beat pedigree every single time. The VQ35DE isn't the engine enthusiasts put on posters, it's the engine they put in their cars. It's not the hero car culture wanted, it was the hero car culture could actually afford. And that's exactly why it matters. Greatness doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight, waiting in a Craigslist Altima with 180,000 miles, ready to become someone's first drift build. The real flex isn't owning something nobody else can afford. It's building something everybody else dismissed. The VQ35DE proved that lesson one junkyard swap at a time.